Because we can't spend our entire day in spooky places but are curious about what happens there, we set up cameras to help us out. So far, these gadgets have done a great job of exposing some secret movements in the wild. Today's video explores the 15 times a trail cam captures what no one was supposed to see. Number 15. Clowns in the woods. Clowns are supposed to make you jumpy and excited, even if they aren't terrifying. I mean, imagine a birthday scene where these people are hired to make kids dance in excitement. You find them at a social gathering, you're probably not going to be as scared, but when they appear in the woods, it leaves you asking too many questions. One incident that caught everybody off guard was the one captured in 2010. A hunter suspected strange movements in the woods and wanted to capture it while he was away. Therefore, he set his camera up, hoping it would capture the movement. Luckily for him, his suspicions were right. He saw a clown move past the camera. He was even more shocked after the creature noticed the camera filming him, and drew nearer to see what it was. After the clip was uploaded to the interwebs, some said it was the ghost of a dead person who didn't want to rest in peace. Others said it was a real-life clown taking a walk in the woods. Again, one would wonder why a normal human would risk their life by visiting the forest in the wee hours of the night, but hey, clowns are a little weird. Number 14. Camper escapes lion. Every camper intending to spend a few days in the woods knows the risk. First, they must grapple with wild animals. Knowing they might fall victim isn't exactly pleasant news, but it just comes with the territory. Though wildlife researchers knowing that won't stop their job at all. This researcher and his team ventured into the forest for their usual research. At night, they'd seek shelter in the tent until the next morning to resume work. That night, a lion was on the prowl for prey. They walked past the tents and guessed that somebody was probably inside. The researcher quickly woke up by the roar of the hungry lion that was waiting for him to get out to grab a bite. He stayed still, as any unnecessary movement would be interpreted as confrontation. When he opened the side of the tent, he saw the lion, and knowing that the animal would not leave without a fight, he strategized on the best way to get rid of it. Luckily for him, though, his colleague saw the animal from a distance and chased it away with a stick. The clip was played the next morning, and the rescued man was grateful to his friend for saving his life. Number 13. Buck comes back to life. I categorize hunters into trophy hunters, hunters for meat, and hunters for sale. The first one captures endangered animals for fame. The second slaughters these animals for food, while the third sells them to lovers of exotic animals at exorbitant prices. In this video, the hunters were likely hunting for meat. When they found this giant buck, they thought they had hit the jackpot because it was within range. They shot it several times until it was lifeless, or so they thought. When they rushed to grab it, they realized it wasn't there anymore. Where did it go, and how did it move from being almost dead to being alive once again? While the animal had lost a lot of blood, it didn't die. 10 days later, the hunters set a trail cam around the shooting area to see if they could find another animal in the region. They were amazed to see the same buck they had nearly shot to death cross the cam. They wondered how it survived, but there was no one to explain it to them. Number 12. Stuck on a bucket. Tricky thing about helping wild animals when they get into trouble is that sometimes they mistake you for an intruder. Sometimes hunters find sharp objects stuck in an animal's foot but can't help them for fear of being attacked. This buck saw a bucket and probably thought it was a good companion. It pounced on it, not knowing the bucket was never going to leave its head so easily. It stuck to its antlers and remained there despite the tricks employed by the animal to shake it off. The event occurred in 2009 and was captured by a trail cam. We don't know how the bucket made its way to the forest in the first place, much more how it got on the animal's head. We also didn't see how the video ended, but I'm guessing people who attached the camera acted fast to rescue the animal because it would suffocate if help didn't come quickly. One can only hope that that's what happened, and then the buck would not do this again. Number 11. Ghost Girl. Best way to catch a glimpse of all the happenings in your surroundings when you're away is by setting a trail cam and watching the clips later. Landowners in New York suspected strange movements on their land and wanted to know what it was. They realized it was risky to hire someone to watch the place all night, so it was best to set a camera in their location. They installed the gadget and returned home, anticipating feedback the next day. When they replayed the video, they found a girl dressed in white playing in the woods. The men were puzzled and informed the locals about what they found. The locals didn't seem too shocked at the finding and even confirmed that they had recently heard funny sounds from the woods. They guess it might have been a ghost of a child killed in a train attack some years ago. Maybe she continued to roam the forest since her soul couldn't find peace. Number 10. Bigfoot. This video wouldn't be complete without mentioning a famous creature that's been sighted in nearly every single forest worldwide. The legend of Bigfoot is infamous for appearing in trail cams and disappearing afterward because it didn't want to be noticed. While Bigfoot is mainly found in North America, it's also been spotted in different parts of the world, with similar physical features. With constant sightings, we can guess that this animal exists but is deliberately hiding from humans. Some skeptics say that the multiple sighting stories may have been made up and are not real. When this camera was installed on a tree in the forest, the people who did it didn't expect much. If you look closely, you'll see a gigantic creature walking past the camera. It resembles an ape, but its description is far from it. It disappears into thin air later and doesn't come out until the video ends. Again, why is Bigfoot always shying away from the camera? Number 9. Strange lights. Lights are supposed to illuminate dark places and bring hope to everyone who witnesses it. However, their appearance is questioned depending on the circumstances surrounding them. The person who installed this trail cam wanted to find wild animals and other spooky things happening in the forest while the rest of the world slept. He succeeded in his findings because they revealed some pretty deep mysteries of the forest. The camera first captured a deer roaming in the forest looking for food. After the animal was out of sight, we could see a strange light behind it. You would think the light came from the camera, but it didn't. People who saw the video had a lot to say about the sighting. They guessed it had something to do with UFOs, while others shoved it off as a normal light from a distance. If the forest is far from human habitation, the chances of it being a regular light are pretty slim. Maybe we need more explanation for the light, but from who? Can't help but guess. Number 8. Hungry bear. People living in Florida and other cities where wildlife is prevalent live their lives knowing that wild animals can visit any time. Therefore, they invent coping mechanisms to help them escape these animals. This giant bear may have been lurking around the house, waiting for the homeowner before striking. Seeing that the coast was clear, it decided to come into the compound to attack the chicken in their pen. The helpless animals would have died in a few minutes after the bear's arrival had their owner not intervened immediately. The bear began eating at the wood in bits to penetrate their enclosure. Unluckily for the animal, the occupant noticed a strange sound outside and rushed to check what it was. She was completely caught off guard by this giant bear going after her chickens. She raised the alarm and searched the environment for a tool to chase the animal away, but the bear got wind of the tactics and fled too. You can never be too careful with wild animals, especially knowing they can always get away with some truant actions. Number 7. Raccoons. Raccoons are small but ferocious creatures. You think they're easy prey until you challenge them to a fight. These animals are often found hanging around larger animals like deer, but don't seem too perturbed by their presence. They've also been found eating a predator's meal easily without worrying about the consequences. I think I'm joking, try installing a trail cam in those places where raccoons are found and you'll see things for yourself. Raccoons sometimes are aggressive towards deer and would chase them away from their surroundings. This clip captures a moment a helpless deer watched this group of raccoons munch on a meal it should have been eating. Unfortunately, it couldn't attack them because they outnumbered it and put up a better fight than it. Deers need a lot of energy to grow antlers. During this period, they're often quiet and don't waste energy. The last thing this buck wants to do in this situation is to expend its energy on these raccoons. If there's an animal that doesn't get accolades for being brave, it's the raccoon. Number 6. Tree chewed by beavers. Beavers are sometimes called lumberjacks for a reason. You can see how this animal is calmly eating the sides of this tree to the point where it almost falls. These creatures are the second largest rodent after capybaras. They're found in rivers, lakes, and ponds across the areas they inhabit. They prefer to feed on grass and tree bark as seen in this clip, but the remains of this bark they chop off are used to construct their homes. Females often care for the young until maturity, while the children grow to cater to their parents. Beavers gnaw on trees until they fall, and they clip branches from the logs and add them to their food stash as well. Studies actually show that beavers fell as many as 300 trees annually. Other woody plant items beavers consume are leaves, roots, vines, sedges, shrubs, ferns, new bark, and blackberry canes. These creatures store food in winter since they can't access many plants as they want. Generally, this animal eats its food near dens, lodges, or water. After their food source is depleted, they move to another location. Number 5. Bear and bike. Many curious tourists continue to visit regardless of what happens in the mountains. Some adventure lovers prefer heart-skipping moments over regular ones. This hiker had heard stories of spooky things happening in Montana but wanted to try it out. Of course, it wouldn't be bad to film a trending video and get attention from internet users. Hopefully, you're allowed to take all the flowers. As he pedaled slowly up the mountain, he saw a bear running towards him. Thankfully, he saw the animal first, so he had the time to plan an escape route. He held onto his bike as he took to his heels. He noticed the animal didn't give up on the chase, so he quickened his steps. The clip is honestly so chilling. It just makes you imagine what this wild animal would do to him should it capture him. We learned that the man escaped unharmed because the bear thankfully gave up. Might have found another prey and decided it was better to settle for the less stressful one. Although Montana is home to thousands of bears, fatalities are thankfully rare. Death comes from surprise attacks, but that doesn't make this clip any less frightening. Number 4. Fighting deer. Animals, particularly those in the wild, hardly fight when people are watching. The best way to know their secret lies is by setting up a secret camera that records them when no one's watching. These deer didn't know someone was filming them from a corner when they challenged each other to a fight. Wildlife officials captured the white buck standing on their hind legs and hitting at each other with their hooves. The deer in this video did not have antlers, suggesting they were younger animals. Antlers start to grow in late spring and are covered with vascularized tissues known as velvet. When these antlers begin to grow, the animals protect them and don't fight with them for fear that they might pull off. Rather, they use their hooves to fight. Sometimes they deliberately use their hooves to peeve off another animal they consider weak. Fights like this one are often caused by limited food, but thankfully both animals walked away unhurt, seeing that nobody would actually win. Number 3. Staircase leading to nowhere. There are numerous stories of folktales leading to nowhere. Some legends say that stubborn people who don't listen to their elders follow this route and end up in the middle of the forest. They're stranded there as there's no way to return to their destination. While these tales are laced with spooky events, some of them might actually be true. Many countries claim to have found stairs leading to nowhere in their forests. Many who saw the stairs went around to see if they could find a clue as to what it was used for. Despite their investigations, though, they found nothing. It may have been built in the middle of the forest for a reason, but nobody can understand why. It's believed that it was an abomination to climb the stairs because it represents a bad omen. Since the people who encountered it didn't want trouble in their lives, they returned with footage of it and didn't climb it. That being said, it's now time for the unknown topic. It's no longer news that humans aren't alone on the planet. While we try to deny that aliens might be around, we find footage that proves us wrong almost every day. One of those images is the one seen in this video. You're gonna need some extra convincing to tell you that this isn't real. Regardless of what you make of this humanoid creature, doesn't change the fact that someone set a camera in the forest and captured this giant creature. Might be tempted to call it Bigfoot, but it doesn't really fit the description of Bigfoot. More than likely, it's more of an ancient giant like in folk tales. Again though, we kind of agree that they aren't really real. Only time will tell though. If you got a better explanation for this sighting, please tell us in the comments section down below. That being said, number 2. Missing person. Tourists who take on life-threatening trips are often encouraged to keep their family members updated on their moves. This is to ensure that emergency services are alerted if need be. Gabby and her fiancé were on a trip in 2021 when she constantly made videos of herself and her lover in the woods. Her family members and friends used the clips to track her and ensure she was fine. A bit later though, she stopped posting social media updates, which of course worried her family. They alerted the police about their fears, and the police combed the forest to find her. She was never seen alive until days later, when her corpse was found lying on the floor. The authorities believe that her fiancé killed her after an argument. After seeing that she was dead, he packed his bag and fled the location. The trail cam installed in this forest captured a man walking past it with a backpack. While this could have been anyone, the police believe it is Gabby's runaway fiancé. Number 1. MUKBANG. MUKBANG is an eating show that began in South Korea in 2010. After it was streamed online, it gained worldwide recognition. Other countries soon adopted the exciting trend, and the game involved people eating in front of the camera. Look up Nikocado Avocado when you get the chance. That stuff is gross. It wasn't a competition or a big deal, but they would stream it live on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Apparently, animals had also been watching from a distance and wanted to join the trend, but didn't find the perfect opportunity. When this particular little animal noticed a trail cam in the bush, it thought it was wise to join the trend too. First, it moves closer to the camera and looked closely at the lens while munching on its meal. The animal isn't distracted for a second despite concentrating on its food. Some content creators have seized the opportunity to force their pets to eat huge bowls of food in front of the camera. Animal rights activist says this game should be left to humans as these animals are forced to eat unhealthy food to create content. Heck, in one video, a dog was fed a bowl of chili peppers. Sick people out there, I swear. Either way, see you all in the next video.